What's up, guys? Welcome to the quarantine. I'm your host, Wolf. Today, we're going to take a quick look at BattleCON, Devastation of Indines. Developed and published by Level 99 Games. BattleCON is one of my favorite board games of all time, with a massive variety of characters. There are 30 characters in this game. When you purchase this, you're not going to get all this. You're going to get this with all of these characters, except for these ones. These are promo characters, which I don't have, but I have the boxes for them. And then you're going to get these little envelope sleeve things to put all your cards and tokens and stuff in. I highly recommend get plastic baggies to put everything in, and then put them in these, because it all doesn't really fit together a whole lot. Here's a picture of what mine looked like. Now, the way BattleCON plays, I'm not going to go into too much detail about how the game plays and the rules and whatnot. I'll let you figure that out by yourself. This is just kind of an overview and a review, just kind of testing how I want this thing to go. But your character's going to get a set of cards. You're going to pick one of your fighters. Your opponent's going to pick a fighter. If you have 2 copies of the game, the rules say you can choose the same fighter. I think that might be boring, but it also might be really cool. I don't know. But one of my favorite characters, Karen Yeager. There we go. She's got a werewolf, or a wolf with a top hat. I mean, really, you can't beat it. But your character's going to get a set of cards with red and with blue. And you're going to get these 3 cards that look a little different. The back of this one's going to have your character's special abilities, what only they can do. Then you're going to take a look at the red-backed cards. They're full-colored with your character's, there we go, with your character's art on them. And you're going to take those, and you're going to take, you and your opponent are both going to take the same, the same 8 base cards. You can easily tell the base cards because they say bases on the bottom. You take those, you take these, slap them together. These 3 are going to be off to the side. And what you're going to do, let me put these over here, you're going to take and pair one red, 1 blue. You pair them together, and it's going to form one solid card, like this. And you're going to lay it face down, your opponent's going to lay theirs face down, you're going to follow the rest of the flow of the game, and then these are going to go to the discard piles, which here's your board. Everything, all the rules are all right here, and right here, on both sides of the board, and so each player, if you're sitting on this side, you can read it. I'm sitting on this side, I can read mine. But you have your discard piles, so after you play your pair, they're going to slide over to here. They're all going to shift over. This one's going to come off the board and back into your hand. Really ingenious system, so you're not spamming the same move over and over and over and over and over again. It's pretty cool. And the fight's going to go on like that until either one person's life counter here starts at 20, until it drops down to 1. So you're just going to use this to keep track of your life. You also have a beat counter, which is, think of it like a timer in a normal fighter. You start off on beat 1, at the end of beat 15, whoever's got the most life wins. All the characters are unique. There's 5 different tiers, and they all vary in different level of complexity. Tier 1 can easily beat a Tier 5, and vice versa, and everything in between. The game is incredibly balanced because mainly, where are they going? There. Because mainly, both players, can't talk today. Both players have the exact same bases. The only difference is your unique base and your unique styles for your character. So, one of the great things about the game is all information in the game is available anytime. So if you and me were playing, I could go, hey, I'm having trouble trying to figure out what I want to do. So let me see your hand. You have to show me your hand, give it to me. I get to look through it, look at your bases and your styles, see how they can combine, what you have access to, dig through your discard pile, whole 9 yards, to see what you're capable of doing. And then I hand yours back, you can do the same thing to me, and then I look through and go, okay, well, this is what he's capable of, look at the board, and go, well, he's there, I'm here, his tokens are there, whatever, this is what I need to do. There is 0 luck in this game. until you start fighting bosses and the dungeon crawl, which I'll get to. But there's no luck in the game. So if you lose, you lost because you were outplayed. Your opponent outthought you. You were not able to predict what they were going to do, and they destroyed you. That's probably the best part of this game. Now, I mentioned the components in the game. There's several other ones, like the bases that I had mentioned. You can play, of course, 1v1, 2v2 is a tag battle, which is pretty cool. 2v1, which allows you to use the one person's by themselves, use the EX bases, and then the two players that are versus him uses bases. You can do 3v1 and 4v1 with Almighty, which make you even makes you way stronger. There we go. If you're using that, there's also in the back of the book for each character special abilities they get to use if they're in EX or Almighty mode, which is super awesome. Then if you want to mix things up, there's trying to think of how the best way to describe these. There's Bravo bases, which basically you use them, which that did not zoom in. You basically use them instead of the standard bases. They're not any stronger, they're just different. So if you want to mix things up, or if you want to be Bravo bases and your opponent uses normal bases, that's perfectly fine. You guys are going to be capable of doing different things. It's going to mix things up a little bit in a really good way. But probably one of the coolest things is this game has a co-op mode and a single-player mode, which is pretty cool. And it plays out like, basically like a Double Dragon style dungeon crawler. There we go. And this is where some of the randomness comes in. You use these cards that the game comes with. I recommend getting dice too, because some of like the boss rush mode, those cards aren't going to cut it. But you use those to determine what attacks the bosses are going to take or the enemies are going to take. And that's really one of the only random aspects of the game. However, bosses are also fairly random. They come with these gigantic cutouts. Let me take this out here. These gigantic cutouts. And then they have their little decks there that you can see. They're like, some of them are AI cards in a way. Some of them you just pull them out in order and big things happen. Stuff like that. And then there is arenas, which are pretty cool. And think like how DOA started, where you have your arena, you're fighting in it, it has special things that happen. But partway through the game, this is going to flip over, and the battlefield's going to change. And it's awesome. I love that. The rulebook is really good. Here's the rulebook. It's actually pretty hefty, but it explains things fairly well. And the tutorial is in a comic book format, which is cool. Basically, you get with a partner, in my case it was my wife, and me and her sat down. I chose Shekther, I think her name is, and she chose, God, I cannot remember his name, Illigor or something like that. And it tells you what cards to play, exactly what they do. So it teaches you the game in baby steps, and it works fantastically. And then you have different varying modes. It tells you about special cards, tells you about Almighty duels, Bravo duels, teams, tag teams, group fights, everything. It's very well done. It's got all the unique stuff for all the characters in the back for each one. I do wish the book gave the lore behind some of the characters. Like, I read somewhere that Karen and Yeager are brother and sister werewolves. But then on top of that, the card also has, which this is another thing I like, is really neat. Like, if you're trying to teach a small child, which I don't think a child would be able to play this because the game gets pretty deep and can get really complicated. It's easy to figure out, but when you're having to do start a beat before activating, on hit, you're doing all these things in certain orders. I think a small child, like my 8-year-old, would not be able to get this game at all. I'm probably going to wait for about a year or so until I try to teach her this. But if you are trying, you get these lesson cards, which are pretty cool. And they basically allow the person that you're teaching, you hand them these, and they get to rewrite a mistake. So it's really cool. So, like, they could use Lesson 2 Stun. If they were going to get stunned, and they didn't understand how Stun Guard works, they can play this and they're no longer stunned. It's pretty cool. I don't use it very often because I generally teach older people how to play it, but it's there. It's a really neat option. When you first open up the game, you're going to get this, and this is probably one of the bigger problems of the game. And I use that term very, very loosely, and you'll see why. You're going to see this. Don't panic. For good reason. There is almost 500 cards in this game, hundreds of tokens, tiles, little punch-outs. Each character has their own little punch-out like this, plus many of the characters have like 5 and 6 tokens or counters, and it gets nuts. Plus all of the decks of cards, and it's overwhelming. When I first opened the box, I was like, holy crap. But when you see this, you read through this, and it tells you that, look, there's a lot of crap here. Keep reading. Then you go down here to start here. And it tells you exactly what to do and to open up the tiers one at a time. Because as you open up the different tiers, new things start happening. Like soaking doesn't start happening, I think, until tier 2, whereas a lot of characters have soak abilities. And then tier 3? Tier 4, you have the Hot Dragon Princess, where she doesn't do shit with the damage, but she paralyzes everybody and can just insta-win at the end of the game. Stuff like that. So, it's a really nice system. It makes what could be a very daunting, overwhelming game be fairly easy to grasp and get a hold of. However, there is a lot of stuff to the game. It took me and a buddy of mine 2 days of almost non-stop gameplay to either play or play against every character in the game. So there is a lot of stuff. I love that. It's amazing, but some people might see that as a downfall. However, I can't really think of anything else negative to say. There is so much awesomeness to this game. It is easily my favorite board game of all time. I cannot recommend this game enough. The customer service is excellent. My box was damaged, which, let's see, you can probably see here, or you might be able to. Right here I have taped together, and right here I have taped together. When I got mine, this was just flat down. It was just completely open. And I messaged the Level 99 Games, and within 3 hours, they got back to me and said, yeah, we could totally send you a new box, no problem. However, if you can wait until you make an order, that way we can just send it with your order to save us on shipping. I haven't done that yet because I haven't ordered anything yet, but I totally plan to, but I thought that was awesome. And they said they were going to, they would, no problem, just if I could wait, and so I had no problem. The fact that they got back to me so fast is outstanding. I've messaged companies months ago, and they still haven't got back to me about some of my board games. So, like I said, the game's going to set you back $75, give or take, that's what I got. I highly recommend sleeving them, making little tuck boxes, something along those lines. But the insert that comes with it isn't that great. I should probably touch on the artwork, and I know this review is all over the place. I've been trying several different formats all day, and this one's the one I'm the most comfortable with, I guess. I don't know. I'll figure it out as time goes on. But the artwork in the game, on top of that, is awesome. It is anime style, so if you don't like anime style, obviously you're not going to like the game. So go out, pick up BattleCON, and have a blast. The game is outstanding, and again, I cannot recommend this game enough. Well, it's been fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep this format. I may even re-record this review. I don't know yet. I've been getting irritated all morning because I had a script at first that I was reading from, and I kept looking over here the entire time reading off my script. It looks stupid. I've tried sitting on the other side of a table to show all the things. It looks stupid. I tried the camera facing the game board and me just reaching around the camera and showing things. I didn't like the way that looked. I kept forgetting my lines. I just kept getting irritated. So at this point, I'm just recording this how I would talk to a guy at the comic book store on how to do the game, or how to play the game, or buy it, or review it, or I guess however you want to talk about it. So, I don't know. Like I said, I might keep this format. If you like it, sweet. Let me know, and I'll totally keep doing this, because this is probably the easiest of the two. When I do my video game reviews, it's a lot easier, because I have a script. I can read off the script like this. and then chop in video gameplay footage and whatnot. So it's much easier. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I almost decided not to do this and just say to hell with board game reviews. But if you can give me a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time in the quarantine.